In 1986, the QMS system was introduced. If I'm not mistaken, Laws, it was Colin Moyle in the Longy government, and the set of proposals contained in this document are probably the most comprehensive, or certainly the breadth of the potential changes enables me to say it's arguably the broadest set of changes since the QMS was introduced. What drives it? It's informed by a working party that was created and joint stewardship of it was between our CEO, Mr. Smith, and key figures from the industry, including Craig Lawson and other members from Sanford's, Tallies, Moana, Sea Lords, and some of the smaller elements of our seafood sector, including the crayfish industry. There's nothing particularly new in this document. It goes back to a number of the gripes in the days of John Luxon and Bolger's time, where there were endeavours made to improve the capacity of our regulatory framework to give more scope for the industry. Underneath this document is a deeper philosophical debate. You would know that New Zealand has an unusual fishing management system in terms of other countries because we have the property rights-based quota system. And the expectation about 15, 20 years ago is that the quid pro quo is that the industry would be enabled to enjoy greater self-regulatory powers. The document does not go that far, although there is another body of work that I'm expecting to gain access to from the industry in the not too distant future. But obviously this has been through Cabinet, and there are some issues that will excite various elements of the broader fishing community, especially on cameras. As you know, New Zealand First is no fan of cameras. However, we're faithful to our coalition agreement and to Cabinet, and there is a discussion as to the fact that cameras are now a feature of the fishing industry, but how should the information be treated that comes from camera footage? My position is that it should be exempted from the Official Information Act, so that the camera footage does not fall into the hands or onto the lap of people that, in my experience, hope to do damage to this valuable industry. However, that's the view of a New Zealand First Member of Parliament. It's not the view of Cabinet. But let's see what comes out of it. There are other areas, not the least of which is what to do when you're way out at sea and you catch the wrong sort of fish. How do you account for it without it being overly bureaucratic? So there are a range of technical changes, and it's important that you realise that this document has been obviously developed in association with a working group. There are people from the civil society. No, actually that's to ruin a good word, from the NGOs. They're not civil society. They will no doubt engage with me on the document, but it's driven by a need to boost the productivity, boost the jobs, and create more export income out of this sector, which is really valuable in certain parts of regional New Zealand. It's not overly slanted towards Māoridom. As the former chair of Te Hukai Moana and the former chair of Sea Lords, I expect my own people to stand shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the industry and pay their way. The rights that were protected and safeguarded in the fisheries settlement will be upheld, but after that settlement, the expectation of New Zealanders is that irrespective of your background or your ethnicity, we're all in this together to ensure that the industry remains a sustainable enterprise, but at the same time maintains jobs, income, and some viability for we communities. So please report it accurately. I'm not going to walk back any of my rhetoric. Having said that, I know that it's a consultation process and there'll be a variety of views that eventually we'll have to take account of as a Cabinet, and my expectation is that legislation will be passed before the next election. And in terms of the more fundamental reforms that have been pushed by some elements of the industry, I will have to take that matter up with David Seymour as the Minister of Regulatory Reform, and that will happen after I've received the report from the industry.